Hello everyone and welcome back to the 4th episode of my interview series. This one is full of childhood trauma and a lot of dark humor. I got to sit down with one of my best friends, well, we're actually standing up, but whatever. I got a chance to stand up with one of my best friends, someone I've known for a long time, and talk about her childhood and talk about a lot of really crazy things that happened to her growing up. This is someone who has always been an incredible inspiration and can be an inspiration to anybody. One of the strongest people I have ever met in my entire life. So let me introduce her to you. She is an educator and a daycare teacher. Someone who has devoted her entire life to helping other people. She is one of the strongest, if not the strongest person I have ever met. The embodiment of being independent, someone who seems to handle any situation that you throw their way, and a huge inspiration to me, and others as well. She is hilarious and has a great sense of humor, literally one of my favorite people that I've ever met in my entire life, and an honor to be a friend of. Here she is. And here's Kristen. I wanted you to do a backflip on the rock.
That's not gonna happen today.
You know, one time I jumped off this.
I didn't wear the right shoes.
Oh my God, that's the only reason why. So Christine is the 4th guest I brought on here because she's the 4th favorite person in my life, behind every other person. No, it's just the way it worked out. But you do have this special spot. You get the valley, which is my favorite spot, although it's full of bugs and weeds. But it doesn't matter. It's the principle that counts. Christine, like everyone before her, and actually, I'm gonna give you a little bit more of leeway on this, has an even more interesting past. Sorry for everybody else who's like,
you suck.
So there's a lot of things I want to talk to you about. But just to give a brief introduction of who Christine is, besides what I just did, her and I have known each other for...
6th grade?
Wow.
6th grade.
Wow. So 53 years.
Yeah.
How long is that? To 18 years. Oh,
how old
wow.
are you? Really?
11, 12, and 6th grade. 18 years. Okay.
That's like a baby.
But we really didn't become like friends until like, what? Right after high school, senior year, right after high school?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's been a while. But Christine has a very interesting past. And that is why I'm here to exploit that. So with the most general question ever, because I'm one of those interviewers where like you ask these general questions and people are like, what? I'm gonna ask you the same thing.
Okay.
Tell me about your childhood, about you growing up.
So I started off as an infant. Actually, I thought I could start off with my name. So when I was born, so I'm a crack baby. My mom did heroin.
I shouldn't be smiling while you said that. I was trying not to.
I mean, it's serious. It's a real deal. Yeah. It's actually happened. But so I'm very Pacific when people call me Christine. Like I hate Christina. Don't do it, because that's the name my mom wanted. Like she really wanted me to be Christina Faith. But when you're really, really like cracked up and doped up, and you have to like sign a certificate and write something out, she wrote Christine. So she really wanted Christina. So I'm like, do not call me that. For months and months, for probably like, I think I was 9 months old before they actually knew my real name. Yeah.
Wait, so they didn't realize that your name was Christina on the birth certificate?
Nope.
So everyone kept calling you Christina.
Yeah, or Chris.
Or Chris.
But literally, we have home videos where it's like, oh, little Christina. That's not my name. That was never my name.
So now it's triggering.
Yeah, it really is. It's a trigger. It's a trigger. When I'm at like work and I've already corrected people, I might get a little snappy. I'm like, that's not my name.
Well, yeah. I at this point, what about even Chris though? You don't like that either?
No, I'm fine with Chris. I mean,
Okay.
it's just my family calls me Chris.
Okay.
Just like my grandma, my sisters and some things, but not like people in the public.
Yeah, I mean, I've been calling you Christine. I also don't like to give people nicknames.
Right. People at work call me Teen.
Teen?
Yeah, I love Teen. I have one coworker calls me Teeny. I mean, I did lose some weight, but I'm just gonna be. That's my favorite nickname.
Teeny. You're like actually just throwing that out there.
Yes,
that's my new name. That actually says Teeny on my birth certificate. So
yeah. Well, we won't know. I don't know. Are we sure?
So then, being a crack baby.
Yeah.
How was your health affected with that? Because there's no way you come out of that unscathed.
So, God bless my grandma's heart. So, I feel like a lot of my childhood and like stories that I heard about being a crack baby and being born gave me a lot of abandonment issues. Like, I'm so scared of being abandoned, because I was going to be given up for adoption because no one in my family would take me, because they couldn't give me to my mom, because obviously, I mean, she's just cracked up, and I almost died when I was born and all that thing, so I had a lot of complications. So my aunt forced my grandma to just hold me to say goodbye, and that's when my grandma was like, okay, I'll take her home.
Oh, wow, okay.
So
it was like last minute.
Yeah, I mean,
decision.
I was in the ICU for like 6 days before I went home, because I came out purple, I wasn't breathing, and then you kind of like choke on the like heroine coming up in your system. So she spent a lot of nights just having me sleep straight up in between her legs to make sure that I was breathing until it was finally like fully out of my system.
So if your grandma decided to take you right off the bat, then did your mom or dad have any part in raising you?
No. So I've only lived with my mom probably for like a year in my entire life, and I would beg my grandma to take me home. I had to be in like kindergarten age, because I remember learning how to tie my shoes at her house. Like, for some reason, one of my memories is hiding behind the fridge, learning how to do it, because all kids hide behind fridges. But yeah, she would come to Baltimore. We lived in a row home, because we lived in Grassroots, the homeless shelter, and they help your parents get back on their feet, collect money, and then they get you a rental in the city. So we lived in the city, but like my mom's would be like gone for weeks at a time. My dad would be non-existent. We learned how to steal food from the corner store. That was my life. So whenever my grandma came to visit to either bring food or just to see if we're alive, I would beg her to take me home. Nobody else went home. It was just me, because I'm the favorite. So, obviously. So your other siblings didn't? No, they were busy running the street. They were older than me.
Oh, okay,
they had friends, and I was just alone. Like now, I'm taking applications for friends. Like, it's fine.
I'm standing right here. That's fine.
I'm only the fourth favorite.
That's true. That's not a way to start off an interview. Yeah. Well, you feel bad for the fifth person after you. They're going to get fifth.
True.
There actually might not be.
Do you even have...
No, I'm pulling people out the woods.
Do you know 5
I'm
friends?
literally finding random people. Like, hey, this is our backstory. You're going to hop on here.
This is all made up.
Yeah, I don't even know you. So I'm asking you these questions. I'm like, crack baby. I didn't know I was going to get into this. What's going on here?
I mean, it's already out there. Is she an 8th grade teacher?
Who?
Should I say her name?
It doesn't matter.
Miss Barlow?
I don't think anyone's going to come kill her from this.
Is it 9th grade?
I don't know who that is.
So I think she was like a history teacher. And I know Stephen was in the class, and my friend Casey was in the class. And we were reading in the textbook, and it was talking about crack babies, and it was mentioning something. And Miss Barlow, and I quote, was like, crack babies are worthless. They have a lot of trouble mentally, and they can't figure it out. And I just stood up in the middle of class, and I started crying, and was like, I'm a crack baby, and I ran out of class.
She must have felt, can you imagine that moment?
She tried to apologize to me, and I pushed her hand and was like, no.
Well, how do you come back from that? How do you come back from saying crack babies are worthless? Yeah, why say that?
I don't know. I have no idea. And also, how are you educated?
Wow.
I don't know.
What an idiot. I thought you were going to say something good about her at first, and I was like, no, it's fine.
What's her name?
And then you were like, and I was like, no one's going to care. And then you're like, oh, okay, don't come for Miss Barlow if that's even her real name.
I mean, we made up. She's cool. She's all right. I educated her a little bit. It worked. It's straight.
This is a really crazy thing to say.
It was traumatic.
So then, while you were living with were you living with your mom and dad, or just your mom?
Both of them.
So then, while you were living with your mom and dad, right? Both of them.
Yes.
I know you didn't want to be there, because obviously you explained that, but what went on when you were there?
So obviously we didn't have food, so we would have to steal.
Well, you said obviously as if it was like, everyone's like, yeah, I've been there.
you've been to my house. I will invite you in. I mean, I had a lot of fun though, too, to be honest, because we had no supervision at all. We turned the basement into a swimming pool once. We were skating, like, just
Wait, how did you turn the
house.
basement into a swimming pool?
You just flood it. Obviously.
Oh, okay. So I thought there was like a lining.
No,
just flooded it. Okay.
I mean, what kids do.
So you kind of like had you had no supervision.
None. But when we did, it was either like my mom just passed out on the couch. I just have memories, like glimpse of memories of where like my dad beat her with a plunger while she was sleeping because he wanted her to go out hoeing instead. There was a lot of times I have a baby brother. Kenny is how much younger than me? I think he's 20. He's 26 now.
Okay.
He's 26 now, so about...
Well, he was really little when
he was an
infant.
He was an infant.
Wow.
So it was a lot of taking care of him and like moving him from, like literally you would just have needles on the floor. So you would have to just move over the crack pipe so the baby could crawl to its toys if we had any, which I don't really remember any toys. The only time I remember is the Christmas that I tell everyone about, and they're like, "Oh, that happened to you."
What? Well, now you gotta say it.
I didn't tell you.
Well, now maybe you did, but you gotta say it for the camera.
So my one and only Christmas with my mom was, I was probably about six or seven, and we got to open all our presents before Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm.
But we weren't allowed to unpackage it. We weren't allowed to take the toys out to play with them. We were just only allowed to unwrap it and look at the gifts. So I got like Barbies, all those different things. Little kitchen, which I'm pretty sure my grandma and her friend provided all of these things. And then also my sister got a puppy. So we woke up on Christmas Day to nothing, not even parents. They sold them all. Christmas Eve night.
So they showed you the gifts.
Yes.
And then you expected to get these gifts.
Yes.
But instead they
sold them. Yeah.
To get drugs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
So
but what do you
want to buy me a Christmas gift?
Oh my God, just like
my address is. It's like
you start like a GoFundMe for this. Back in the day, I need to make up for this.
I need my Barbies.
How old were you?
6 or 7.
How does it feel as a 6 or 7-year-old then? How did you remember the feeling, or were you
well,
almost used to it?
obviously that's why it's so like embedded in my brain, because I'm like, what the fuck? Like even our puppy, like you just took our dog.
Wow.
Like everything just gone.
But like, my question was, were you almost used to things like that? So when it happened, you kind of were like, of course you're going to be upset, but were you almost like got over it quick, or were you like devastated by it?
I feel like I just got over everything.
So
everything. I mean,
because you were just used to like disappointment.
Yeah. To the point, I have no relationship with either of my parents. None. And I'm not fazed by it at all.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
none.
how could you?
Yeah.
Be at this point, like it's not. I mean, but I also get the other side, because I know that like your sisters, or at least they've had better relationships or more of a relationship with your mom.
They all kind of have a relationship still with her till this day, to where they'll like try to tell me things, or I'm like, I don't ever want my name to come out of your mouth to tell my mom what I'm doing. Because
you want her like gone 100%.
It's just I'm over it. Like I can be in the same setting with her because we do family events occasionally, but I haven't seen her since probably 2019 at this point, and I'm like,
I was there. That was your birthday, right? Or was it after that you saw her?
It was after. It was when I took her home for Thanksgiving, and I made her cry the whole car ride home.
Oh, okay.
The whole car ride home.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the last time I talked to her was when she sent me a huge text message that you could barely read. I could literally share it.
Oh my God.
But it was saying things about like I'm dying, but I think like the way she was saying is like she's dying inside, but the way you read it is like, oh, like I'm terminal.
Oh yeah.
And I'm dying, so like have a relationship with me. And I'm like, no. Blamed my grandma a lot for the relationship of things that she was like, your grandma made you think this way, or your grandma made, and I'm like, no, she didn't. Like, these are your actions. Like, I would wake up and you would come home to my grandma's house, as what I'm saying is home, and be sitting on the edge of my bed detoxing. Like, watching someone nod off is like, I can't do it. Like, if we're probably watching TV and I see like a druggie nodding off, I lost interest. I don't want to watch it. It's like flashbacks to like childhood, like just beyond disgusting to me, and I just can't do it. Like, there's no reason I should be getting ready to go to sleep where I'm respelling my spelling words in my head a million times because I have an anxiety. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to spell these words. And then this lady comes and she's just like throwing up and just nodding off on it. I can't do it.
So as time goes on, eventually you get out of that situation because your grandma takes you, right?
Well, yeah, my grandma's had me, well, yeah, pretty much.
But she got you away from at least living at that house.
Yes.
Like the house with the pool in the basement.
Well, because my parents were arrested, yeah.
Oh. So that's how she ends up getting you.
Yeah.
Okay, so but she probably wanted you anyway, right? Like, were they not going to give you up to her?
I mean, my grandma never actually wanted us to leave her house because she was taking care of us, and my mom came to detox, and she stole, like, you know those big tubs of water that you like
the
put
jugs? Yeah.
So my grandma used to save a bunch of money in it. So my mom stole all that money and decided to just take us. And she just took us, and my sister had a fever and was actually sick. So my grandparents were getting her medicine. And that's when my mom just decided that she was taking us because
she took her chance and just left.
Yeah.
With all the kids. Wow. And then, but then you live out, so you live out that year there with your parents.
Yeah.
And then so your parents get arrested, and then your grandma ends up taking you back. Take all of you back,
so,
right?
Cell phones weren't a thing, really. So my sister literally had to walk like 6 blocks with all 4 of us together to call my grandma. And then she walked back to the house with literally an infant, me, and my sister Brandy, to let my grandparents so they could find us, to take us back.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And then they got you back. And then ever since then, you never went back to live?
No.
Okay.
I've probably spent like a night or 2 with her, and it was just never comfortable setting.
Of course, after all that, I can't imagine you'd be like, yay, Mom. Like,
just run into her arms.
Yeah, like, I've missed you for all those great times we had together.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you live out your life then your life as if you're going to die, or like as if you die.
It's over after this.
So at that point, you're living with your grandparents.
Yes.
So, and obviously life gets better then.
Until now.
Every video bug, someone gets attacked by a bug, so I'm glad that happened. Post my compilation of bug attacks.
Gotcha.
So then like your grandparents have you, and life starts to get better, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, my grandma didn't have to take care of us, right? So I praise her on that. I love her. We have a great relationship. I see her as often as I can, but eventually, like, as a child, I've always known, like, I praise myself on this because a lot of people are like, what am I going to do with my life? I've known since I was a kid that I wanted to, like, teach or be some type of, like, caregiver type deal. And I feel like just being in my grandma's, like, presence kind of just nurtured that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Somebody who is, like, willing to take care of, because she had a lot of children of her own that she had to take care of, right?
Yeah, she has 5 kids.
So she had 5 kids, and then she gets 4 more later.
We lived in like a really small 2-bedroom, and one room was probably like the size of your guys' closets. I mean,
you're assuming all my people are rich. Okay.
You guys, I promise you, this was a closet. Okay. Promise. Like no central air, that whole deal.
Wow.
I used to call it the chicken coop because there was chicken coops were used to be built there, and then they transported them into apartments.
I remember that. I remember that whole lot.
So,
it looked like I had stepped into like a small Mexican village. That's kind of what it looked like. I mean, there was a dirt driveway.
It was.
And then all of a sudden you pull up and it looks like a little Mexican village.
It's cute.
When I say little, I mean really little.
Yeah.
Like how many units?
6.
Like 6 units?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, it was so interesting. I mean, because coming like 5 minutes down the road, you have $500,000 houses. So it's like, it's a really weird random, yeah.
And it was very hidden. Like you're not gonna find it if I gave you the address.
Yeah.
Like we used to have to tell the pizza guy, like, no, just keep going. It's okay.
Yeah, you have to like be on the phone.
It's all right, please bring me my pizza.
So I'll hop into something more with that then. So, okay, you kind of realize this about yourself. You're like, you kind of know that, hey, I want to be a caregiver, a teacher of some sort. I'm sure when you're young, you don't know exactly what that title will be or how it goes, but you start to be inspired in a way by all this. So in a way, what happened to you, what the troubled childhood you have growing up with your parents, to then seeing how your grandma was able to take care of you guys, was in a way this like silver lining to kind of guide you more, to show you what your path was meant to be in life, at least in terms of a career. And obviously I know it means more to you than that, because that's what you're doing now.
Yeah. Don't do it. You don't make money. Don't do it. No, as a kid, yeah, I was always like, kindergarten teacher, gonna be a kindergarten teacher. I didn't know really that like daycares existed, because my grandparents just took care of us.
Yeah, you're probably like,
And
what?
the, like entire neighborhood, like camps, what's that? Like I didn't know kids that were smaller than 6 had other people taking care of them. Like that wasn't until probably, this sounds insane, probably like high school, where you realize it, you know, because by then, you know, middle school, you're just hanging out and chilling.
Yeah.
So when I did the program at Hammond, and I was like, oh, these kids are younger than, they were like 3, 2, and 3. So then I started doing daycare, and then I can take care of 6 infants by myself right now, easy.
So that's your job.
Yeah, obsessed. Like I love anyone younger than 2. Like after that, you're trash. Just trash humans.
You start giving them away. Imagine your own kids.
Yeah.
As soon as they turn like 2, like a little over 2, you're just like, okay.
You can start talking. No.
Go out and get a job.
No.
Go out and get out of my house.
I tell my babies now, I'm like, you're an adult now. Hold your bottle. You're like 10.
But so you developed a passion for that, of course.
Yeah, I feel like,
because like you said, you don't make a lot of money, so you're not doing this for the money.
Been poor my entire life.
You're like, go fund me.
Christina, like, start flashing the.
Oh my God, yeah, like if you want to support Christine, we'll put a picture of you like crying too. Just yeah.
I can cry, it's no problem. I cry all the time. I got no fears. No, but on a serious note, I feel like my entire life I've been taking care of people up until like 3 months from my 28th birthday. I've shared a bed with someone. I've always lived with someone. So almost 2 years now, I've been just by myself, taking care of only me, and it's the best thing ever. You should really do that. Like, just take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Because I had to wean away from, like, I feel like a lot of my life felt a little toxic and overwhelming. Because I'm always like, okay, Eric needs XYZ. I have to, not really, not him. I just don't want to. I
was like, I'm not asking Steve for anything. I'm not going to be.
He doesn't ask me for shit.
After knowing all this stuff, I was like, yeah, no. I'll ask anybody else.
But I grew up not asking anyone for anything.
Yeah.
And
I know. You never have.
I just do it.
You've never asked me for anything.
Yeah.
You're probably the only friend I have that has never asked me for anything.
One time I asked
Thank you, by the way,
a boyfriend to help me pay for tires, and I was legit crying, and I paid him back like 3 days later.
You're like, I can't take this.
I couldn't.
I had to ask somebody for help.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so, okay. Well, we're going to get into that, because I want to get into that more, about you taking care of people and a relationship that you've had, or that you had, I should say.
I had 12 years.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Right after these commercials. We'll be right back.
So instead of a commercial this time, I decided to give you a little sneak peek about what happens moments before we go live.
So it's going to, I like how it starts off, I'm going to zoom in my face, then I'm like, well, bam! And then you hear something, you got to do a trick.
Okay. What kind of trick do you want me to do?
No, I'm kidding. Ready?
I just ate those fake burritos, the Philly cheesesteak ones.
Oh, the fake one. I like you say fake ones because they're vegan. Like the fake, they're not real. Not real food.
I'm not. I was like poking it, like, what is this? I don't know. I don't know what I'm eating.
I see it do this every time now. Talk about PTSD.
It should definitely,
you might have
like-
PTSD from your childhood, but I have PTSD for not hitting record this one time. So.
Picture time. You have to stand up here. Okay. Wait. Yeah, like just like give it a good smile, and then. All right.
You're funny.
And we're back. And I'm going to jump into another. So this is the part of your life now that I'm going to get into where I've known you. So it's much more important.
Because he was there.
Because I was there.
Back in 19... Sorry.
So you started dating a guy when you were how old?
14. 14.
14
15,
to what age?
27.
14 to 27.
Yeah.
You were in a relationship.
Yeah.
With the same person.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know that's a lot of years to cover, to talk about on video, but like,
How much time you got? Sorry.
look, hey, all
I
the
don't
time
even
in the
watch
world.
today.
We can tell. You have a watch. It's
Do you
just,
see? I'm tan.
it's skin colored. So, start from the beginning, and give me a day by day experience of each moment in this relationship. No, but like, sum it up. But take your time. Don't make it quick, because I know this is a big part of your life. This is your entire adult life, and your entire high school with this person that now you're no longer with. That through this relationship has taught you so much about yourself and other people, and has helped you grow through hardship and all this stuff. There's my question. Where do you start, right?
Yeah.
I told you I'm a good interviewer. I throw my people off all the time.
I don't even know. I'm not even sure where to go with this.
So when you met, how was it though? When you met?
So I will say, I mean, everyone's kind of like, oh, you don't know love when you're 12.
Mm-hmm.
I was 14, by the way. But I'm just saying.
When you're 14, you do know.
I mean, yeah. I would say, it started off puppy love, fun,
Yeah.
creative, but then it literally grew into, before I guess the first time we kind of like broke up and like quarreled, it was like literally 4 years straight.
4 years straight of
4 years
of
straight.
pretty stable.
Yeah, very stable to where like I felt blindsided almost, to where I'm like, we were having problems? Like what?
So what? So like, okay, so you got 4 years of stability. This is pretty much throughout the entire high school. And you're feeling good,
and, like,
because this is
a
like,
year after high school, yeah.
and this is your first like serious relationship, right?
Yeah.
So the first time that you're spending the night with someone.
Yes.
The first time that you're almost like kind of pseudo living with somebody.
Yeah, there's been times where like I would literally stay for like months at a time, because I had a car, did not have a car, so we would use my transportation to take us to the community college, doing big things. So yeah, we spent like day in, day out, like always together pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
To where like, what are we eating for breakfast, to like finding quarters to buy ourselves McChickens, that type deal.
So okay, see, but you were having fun.
Yeah, of course.
So then, okay, so now, and what I'm saying too is during this time is like, because of your past, what you went through in your past, you have this person, and you feel like you have some stability with somebody, someone that you get a chance to take care of, that is giving you back love, that is there for you, that you feel like you have this stability, right?
Yeah.
And it's like comforting and feels good, and it's healing in its way, because you're probably forgetting about things now that don't matter, that affected you before, because you feel better being with this person. So now 4 years go down the road, and then breakup happens.
Right, probably apart for like 3 weeks. Like 3 weeks, didn't really talk, but kind of like sent each other like secret messages. Like one of my on Twitter, like, hey, you know how you're like, one of my followers is cute. One of my followers. That was legit how we were having conversations, or like taking pictures. So I was just like, what the hell is, what is happening?
Yeah.
So then, literally since then, we didn't ever like not talk again.
But how did you break up that first time? Was it a big deal, or was it something stupid?
It was just, literally, it was on our 4 years, and it was just like, I've always been with you. I don't want to be with you.
So, okay, so completely blindsided.
Yeah.
So there was no like rhyme or
Like,
reason.
had
You're
a
like,
gift
wait,
for
what?
our 4 years, all that jazz.
But hey, don't want to be with you though.
Yeah.
Wow. So I guess in that moment, you probably not only were shocked, but completely depressed, probably, right?
Oh yeah, it was pretty.
I mean, you were like, I was gonna say. I mean, how could you like?
Yeah.
And especially because you didn't expect it. At that point in your mind, were you like, we're getting married, we're having kids, this is going to be my forever person?
I feel like I was always like that.
So like in the beginning, you probably were like, that's it, found him.
That's it.
Got him.
Life is over. Just wrap it up. Like,
Well, it's a
done
comforting,
deal.
it's a comforting feeling to think that way.
Yeah,
when you
and
meet
I
somebody.
feel like even my family members too, like it's usually like I've seen like my grandparents only together, my aunts and uncles, they were like with one man for like my whole entire childhood. So you kind of like picture like, oh, well, if you really love that person, you're just kind of, it's just there and it's a done deal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, after the whole like month of being apart, then like I was like testing waters and talking to other people. But then when he comes back and is like, yo, no, basically, then I'm like loyal to the T. I'm like, yep, this is it. That's it. It's done. To where I'm sure I've been single a lot longer than you told me. To be honest, like, you didn't let me know.
It's like,
I was by myself. Even living together, we were living together for like 3 years, probably even longer. You just lose track of time because just moved in with me and my grandma when I was living with my grandma, and then we moved out, and that was like a year and some change. So I couldn't tell you how long, but it was a long time. But it was the last breakup, final breakup, like it was over, moving out type breakup, was really devastating for me. I feel like I'm happy now, but I'm still healing.
because of so many years.
It's been so many years, but I felt like the last like 3 years of my life, everybody was just leaving me. Versus like my best friend moved to Florida.
Like you like gave her that look.
You need that look.
In case you're watching it.
To my grandfather died, my grandma moved to Virginia. I had surgery where I was literally wearing a vacuum attached to my ass. Like, it was just so many things that was happening in those 3 years too, where like I was grieving, I was healing, I had surgery, and then you're just like, peace out. And I'm like, because when I finally like hit rock bottom to where I need someone to help me heal, you're just like, I'm done. And you're like, how or what?
Yeah.
What happened? To where my entire life I've been taking care of you or your family. To where like literally one story where I like think about a lot, to where it woke me up to be like, Christine, never ever be like this with anyone in your entire life unless it's your child. I was on my lunch break and I was getting text messages from my boyfriend asking me to borrow $20. So I literally had, I think, $17 in my bank account, and I had $4 in my wallet. I walked to the bank because boyfriend had my car, because I didn't have a car, always drove my car, to put $4 into the bank to just transfer him money so that he was able to do whatever with his friends. Then didn't pick me up from work in my car with my money. Like, oh, love is blind. It really is. I mean, I would literally give people the shirt off my back. People come to my apartment and say, I like this. I'm like, take it. Have my tables and chairs. I don't care. But I don't feel like I should go an extra mile ever again for someone who can't even pick you up from work at the same time that you get off every day, which is still 4 o'clock.
So, I mean, it's funny. I know these stories, and every time I hear them, it's still like, wow, that's crazy. But you had, throughout this time period, right, besides maybe the first 4 years of stability and puppy love and like that romantic like explosion of two young people, that sounds really weird, but you know what I mean. It's like, sometimes I say things and I'm just like, whatever, yeah. It's staying in there. So you had an up and down relationship then. So you broke up some other times then, you know, and I know that it wasn't necessarily you breaking up with him because you were like, you didn't pick me up from work. It was him breaking up with you for almost no reason.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of like.
I mean, I'm sure there was millions of reasons. It's just never was. You didn't let a sister know.
But I mean, the reasons are also like, yeah, his reasons could be very like that he doesn't even understand what they are.
Like, I need to finish school. Well, when I do too.
Yeah.
It took me 7 years of community college. Like, I need to do it too. Like, chill the f*** out.
But those at least that's how he worded it too, because he didn't know how to probably really say what he was feeling. But what I'm saying is like, you were constantly giving, because I knew you during this time period, constantly giving to a person who, and I have no ill feelings towards this person, by the way,
it's fine.
Who was the least giving and most taking person, or one of the most I have ever seen in my entire life.
I didn't really see it until towards the end too, but I was still so blinded by the end, and because like literally we'll be just at home together and like taking a nap on my lap, or we did the do last night, or we're cooking dinner together, or literally I go out with one friend and you text and call me 5,000 times, and I'm like, so I feel like if we just probably got lost in like still best friends but no romantic feelings on that side. So I guess that's where where I got lost, but it gets confusing when you're a girl and you're looking at it.
Yeah, or just like, it also like shows, I mean, if I'm going to connect the dots here, but if you look at your past and how you grew up and having no structure and stability, and to all of a sudden someone coming along that you're attracted to, that you vibe with, that you like, that wants to be with you, and then boom, you're with that person, you're probably like, this is amazing. Mother, you are not going to sting me today.
Someone who wants you, someone who wants to be, near you. Yeah. That's always that's why I said I have abandonment issues, and I'm like, no, this is my person. I have to make it work. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be my person. And now I'm like, I'm my person. I'm going to take care of me and just do things for myself.
But that's a lot of the reason why probably you stayed. So ultimately, it's a lesson in self-love, right? So like, no one's gonna blame you for meeting this guy and falling head over heels for him and wanting to, and even when he starts to kind of be a jackass and not reciprocate the same to you, for you to stick around, because you're like, why would you want to lose that too? You already lost a lot of other things in your life at an age where you were so young and impressionable that now when you're a young adult into an adult, that you don't want the same thing to happen. So like, of course you're going to be giving a lot to this person over and over and over again. But the important thing is what happens at the very end of all of this, when you decide finally that you've had enough.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think like it kind of just came where I was like, I've had enough. But when you go to say it, it was also like, he comes in and was like, I've had enough.
But still, at the end is the most important part. Going through all that crap, you still decide though that you're not going to go back, because there were times before where he broke up with you, but you were almost ready for him to want you back, for you to go back.
Yeah.
I've been through this too, in a smaller scale, so I understand. Yeah. So it's like, but then this time you're like, no. You knew it wasn't going to happen. And I remember that day when you told me about it. It was the first time in my life I have ever talked to you about breaking up with this person, which had been many times. And I knew you were serious. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I get it though. Like, you go to your friends, you're upset, your partner breaks up with you or something.
Like anything.
But this time it was so real. And I remember that feeling it from you coming to me and telling me, I was like, wow, this is actually it. And then you had to go through a whole life transformation, because just like you said, now everybody is moving away and your grandfather passes and you're like, whoa, who is left in my life?
It just felt
your
like
life got stripped away.
Yeah.
So this is how we're going to close this out, because this is the most important thing. What do you do at this point? How do you bring yourself from that low moment of feeling alone, and now like your life has to be reset to where you are now, which I know you think is like, okay, I could still do better, but like it's 10,000 times better than you were that almost 3 years ago. So what did you do? And what was the process you went through for healing? The good, the bad, the ugly.
So you know how like a lot of people, I feel like when they get out of like a serious thing, or they're trying to change themselves, they'll like pick up these random hobbies, or they try to change themselves drastically, and you don't actually probably like these things. Mm-hmm. I just channeled things that I actually liked. Like, I love binge watching TV. Those are my friends. Like, I watched all of Big Bang Theory, like, in no time after this. And I constantly, they're my best friends now. All of them.
I feel you on that, though. I have a lot of fictional best friends, too.
Yeah. And then I just decided to focus on my health. Not even like, oh, I need to work out, get thinner, da-da-da. No, like physically healing from the surgery that I had. So I was like researching and things, and then my cholesterol was kind of high, and then I was like, I started focusing on literally like the inner me. Like, I need to eat well. So I stopped eating meat and cheese, and then I just focused on literally just everything that I wanted to do. I didn't force myself to like go pick up tennis or something random. Like, I just did things that I enjoyed to make me feel more in tune with myself. And actually the pandemic helped like 10,000%, because usually when you're that upset, you're just like, Eric, hang out with me every 5 seconds. Or you pick out friends to keep your mind off things.
Yeah.
I was just scared at home, like I'm going to die if I walk outside. So I was able to spend so much time with myself, and it wasn't the pressure of you have to go outside, because everybody was inside. So it was literally like, you only have time for yourself to do things for yourself. And it really did help.
But you could have, the pandemic could have still made it worse, depending on your mindset.
It could have, but for me, it was like, you need
it
to
gave you
finally,
purpose, because
yeah.
you're like, can't do this now, and like you took it seriously.
I did take it super seriously, and I was like, you finally need to only worry about you. You're no longer taking care of boyfriend or his family, your family. So it was just like, Christine, take care of yourself, and that's what I've been doing since. Just me.
And but how much credit do you give yourself?
On what? On
like
everything?
on everything.
I give an A+.
Okay, good. Because I have to make sure, because I know that you're also prone to being like, I could do more.
I feel like, so also that's what really attached me to my ex too, is because with being a crack baby, with having multiple disabilities, like, you don't always feel as like, I feel dumb sometimes. Let's be honest. I feel stupid. I'm like, I can't do this schoolwork, or I can't read this, or I can't do this. So a lot of your struggles come from, but when you have someone who's so dependent on you, like, Christine, I need you to help me buy a car, or help me with this health insurance, because when it comes to money, honey, I know it. Okay? So it's just like, always like I felt so smart when it came to my ex, and he's brilliant. He's very smart. He is. I'm not gonna lie. Very, very smart. Very book smart. But like when you're like, hey, put some elbow grease in it, you'll be like, what the f is elbow grease? And I'm like,
so like, you're talking like that
like
wisdom. That street
to
smarts.
To where I would get, we matched to where we could give each other what we needed. You gave me your book smarts, and I gave you some street smart, like, get your shit together.
Some practical ways of doing, like, life. It's like being like, how do you live?
Right.
Because they don't teach you that in books.
Yeah.
How to live life.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just made me feel so important. It made me feel like more valued as a person. And so it took me a long time to be like, Christine, that's why I'm so open about my disabilities, and I'm so open about my struggles, because I know I am smart, and sometimes I just need a little push to be like, we need to do this, or, let me help you with this, and you can figure it out from there. So
you've got a chance to prove to yourself throughout that process about what you can really do.
Right. It's not just kind of like it was actual, like, he was being genuine, where he's like, hey, help me with these things, instead of like, I'm just being a lazy piece of shit. Like, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I felt like that way with certain people in my life, where they're like, wow, Christine, you're so smart. And I'm like, are you mocking me? Like, that's how it almost kind of feels in a way. Like, don't tell me I'm so smart because I helped you cut a piece of paper or something. Like, get out of my face.
But you were always kind of that friend for a lot of people, and you and I have some similarities for that. I mean, I'm never going to try to compare my work ethic to yours, because I'm always going to be a little lazy. But, like, you are always going to be like The Rock. in a lot of relationships where you're like, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it, I'll take care of it, I want to do it, I got this, like, you can do all these things.
I do that at work. I think I'm the boss at work, and I don't know how I'm not fired.
You pretty much are.
I don't know how I'm not fired.
You found a way to be the boss without someone making you the boss.
A couple of my coworkers call me their second manager. Low key. They're like, hey, Christine, help me with this. And I'm like, all right, I got you. But yeah, I mean, I do need that push to like start developing myself to like open a center or to be my own boss, because the I'm cutting it.
You hear that?
But I mean, it's obviously, it is scary and a fear when I only have myself to fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
Mommy and daddy is not gonna buy me a house because I ain't got no mommy and daddy.
Well, apparently you don't need one from all the stuff that you've done.
Yeah, I guess not.
So then one last thing, if this is something that you do, I know that you probably give advice to people all the time, but if you had to meet someone who was in a similar situation that you were in, it doesn't even have to be they had the same past, but they were with a guy and they broke up finally, and they're kind of feeling like they have an identity crisis of what to do. How do I heal? How do I turn this around?
It's like
just run away and don't stop.
So I've actually had a friend who had a breakup and was really not considering doing the breakup because they were like, I'm going to be alone, or I'm not going to be able to afford my place, or I'm not going to be able to do this. And I'm like, if you can afford some of it, like, why does everyone think they have to live outside their means? Like, I don't live glamorously, but I live comfortable. Like, I'm by myself, taking care of myself, and I like really want like people, like, push them to be like, okay, I can have less and be happier. Because why would you want to stay with someone or live with someone who you're not in love with, you're not comfortable with, because they pay $300 towards your rent? Go live in a box, you'll probably be fine. Like, it's not like, I don't understand why people do that. I really don't. Like, eat less food, you'll look better anyways. Like, I don't know.
So, but you don't make excuses for yourself, is what you're saying. There's no excuse.
Like, there's no excuse to stay with someone just because it's easier.
Yeah.
Just because it's easier. And you really shouldn't. Like, you can do it on your own. Like, before I even moved, I feel like subconsciously I was always like, make sure you can, I don't trust anyone. I was like, make sure you can afford everything on your own. To where, like, I was even going to be like, I don't need internet. Because you don't need cable, you don't need those things. And then you just figure it the out, okay? And then you can work up to having more things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is actually great advice. There's a lot of people who make all the excuses in the world to not do something or not leave someone because it might disrupt a comfort in their life. And it actually makes them much more uncomfortable to have to deal with the crap rather than just like go through something that might be a little harder than the normal or that they're used to.
I didn't notice that I was so depressed for so long until after I spent so much time by myself. Just because I was in love with you, love being around you, you were my best friend, but if we went out and to do things, I felt like physically ill sometimes. Like, I had a headache, I wanted to throw up, I wanted to sleep, or like I would literally shut down and cry for no reason. And I would always chalk it up to like, you didn't sleep enough, or work is too stressful, or because of your surgery you're not healed. I'm still not healed from my surgery, but I don't feel physically ill anymore. I'm not shutting down and crying. I'm not like pushing myself to be like, okay, I have to go and do these 10 things with this person just to get the attention I need, or the connection that I need, to where now I'm just like, if I don't want to hang out with you, I'm not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay home.
Well, you realize too, it's like it's an energetic sickness. I get it. Like, if you're anxious or depressed, you'll feel bad.
And I got sick so much, and I could not figure out, like, for the life of me, like I always was like, oh, my health is terrible. I'm withering away at my age of 27. So
everyone feels this way, right?
Yeah. To where literally just working on yourself and being by yourself and accepting that it's okay to be by yourself, I started feeling physically, mentally, everything better.
Well, that is a great way to close it out. Besides your GoFundMe, is there anything else you want to shout out?
Lauren, why did you leave me? This is what I've been talking about this whole time.
You're like, now I'm hanging out with this guy.
My
Are you
soulmate.
kidding me? Oh my God.
There is friend soulmates too. Like if you are like so in love with your best friend, like you're always talking like legit like your girlfriend. That's how you should feel about your man too. Like we always talked all the time. When she cried, ugly crying when she moved. Talked day and night all the time still. And my soulmate. That's who I've been talking about. This bitch moved to Florida. End scene.
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Maybe. Or maybe this was it. Maybe Christine just broke the show.
This is the end.
Goodbye.